What is going on, everybody out there? Welcome to the IGN All-Star Community Podcast. This is episode 10, episode X of the IGN All-Star Community Podcast. We're hitting this milestone. I'm one of your hosts, the epic Jake James Lugo, and with me, my compatriot, my brother-in-arms over here, Mr. Peter Lopez.
Hey,
Peter, my man, how have you been?
Brothers in arms. I like that.
Of course. When we start making All-Star Community Podcast clans online, this is what we're going to call ourselves. It's going to be like Saving Private Ryan.
Hey, there you go. I like that.
Yeah, but over with us today, we got a special guest.
Mm-hmm.
We got David, one of the All-Stars in the All-Star IGN All-Stars group. How's it going, David? What's happening with you, man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be here.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're our first All-Star to appear on the podcast.
Yes, it's an honor.
And David's also the one that helped us with this, with our podcast issues that we were having previously. So another thank you to David for helping us out with
Definitely.
that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Happy to help.
Definitely. We were over here like with chickens without heads working on the podcast. He came over here, was like, listen, let me show you how it's done.
Oh, I mean, it helps. I have a little bit of experience doing that kind of stuff before.
And it definitely helped out, man. We really appreciate it. But we're here to do some podcast stuff. This is episode 10. This is the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
This is when we know we're hitting a next level. We're leveling up over here with this EXP. So speaking of EXP, let's talk about what's hot on IGN. Persona 5, the trailer just dropped this week. Now, we all got a chance to see the trailer. I think we're all pretty, most of us out there, especially you listeners out there, are pretty excited. I'm excited. I'm a big Persona fan. Let me get some thoughts. Pete, what did you think of the Persona 5 trailer?
I thought it was dope, actually. I've never played a Persona video game. I've never really seen a trailer to Persona video game. So actually watching Persona 5's trailer, it kind of turned me on to the video game. So now I feel inspired to go and hunt down the older titles. I'm pretty positive they're on PS2. And I'm just going to go and hunt those down and play them.
You can get them on PSN as well. You also got Golden on Vita.
Oh, dude, yeah. I got to get a Vita. I don't have one yet, but...
You could get it on PSN, though. You could get Persona 4.
Okay. But yeah, either way, man, I thought it was cool. I like the art style to it. It reminded me of watching an anime, and I feel that's where it's at right now,
Definitely. I mean, it looked very, very cool. This is probably one of the most anticipated JRPGs in a while. Persona's a big deal. The team that did this game, granted they did a little bit of stuff on Persona 4 Golden, but it's been a good, I want to say about 7 to 8 years since Persona 4 that was on PS2. This is a real new Persona game, and it's causing a lot of stir. Persona 4 Golden sold a whole bunch of copies on PlayStation Vita, which was great. One of the best PlayStation Vita games out now. But there's a lot of hype behind this game, and this game looks like it's going to sell. This game looks like it's going to be a really big deal, not only in Japan, which is Persona country at this point, but also definitely going to be a big deal here in the States. David, what do you think about when you hear Persona?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, I also have not played any of them. My very vague understanding is it's, JRPG, high school setting. That's basically it. I mean, I know it's really popular. It's not really my thing, but it looks like the kind of game that people are wanting from it. Everybody seems excited, so it's good. I'm sure it'll be a good game.
Definitely.
So for a little context, can you, Jake James, can you kind of let us know what Persona is or what it's mainly about, or are they different in every installment?
Well, it's kind of like Final Fantasy in a sense, where the way that the Persona franchise kind of started was Persona 1 and Persona 2 on PlayStation 1, I believe it was. I think Persona 2 was on PlayStation 1. If not, I could be wrong. It could have been on PlayStation 2. Let me know in the comment section if I was wrong or not on that. But really where things started to really heat up was Persona 3, where it kind of made the series go into the mainstream. It mainstreamed the JRPG, a lot of the nuances of what makes a really good, tough JRPG, but kind of dumbed it down a little bit for casual audiences, but had that right amount of groove that was just a good personality, good atmosphere, great soundtrack. Persona has some of the best soundtracks, period. They just have such great music. The aesthetic wise was cool, but more importantly, the story revolves around these kind of dark beings called shadows, and depending on which game you play, there's different stuff that kind of are involved with the shadows, including the Dark Hour in Persona 3, the TV world in Persona 4, and then whatever it's going to be in Persona 5. Persona 5 looks like it's going to be heavily influenced on cat burglars, and the idea of being a burglar or a superhero, quote unquote, and such. And one of the things that they said in some of the interviews that have been going around, especially you can find them on IGN, is that they kind of looked at like classic anime cat burglars like Lupin the Third, which I thought was clever, which is very interesting. I'm a big Lupin fan, from seeing all those like different shows and the movies and such. But Persona is all about atmosphere. Persona, it's about the soundtrack, it's about having fun, it's about exploring the world and such, as well as the big overarching story of what you're, kind of seeing unfold for like the past, 30, 40, maybe 50 plus hours that you're actually playing the game. It's a very meaty type of series, I will say. So every game gives you more than enough bang for your buck.
Yeah, just the look of it. Like I said, the look of it sold me on it. I really like the cat, like the superhero cat in the trailer.
The cat.
Like, that was cool, and I think
it looks like an anime opening.
Yeah.
Like, that's how all the Persona games are. Since Persona 3, they've all been like that. I mean, if you go online and you look at some of the remix stuff from Persona 4 Golden, like that, it looks incredible. It's like you're watching Toonami. If any of you guys have watched Toonami on Cartoon Network, it's exactly like that. It's really, really cool overall.
I think we can just have like an entire segment based on Toonami if we want.
Oh yeah. You know what? We should do that next episode. Yeah. We're gonna talk about Toonami.
That will be our
feature.
Cool.
Oh heck yeah, that'd be sweet. But Persona 5, if you haven't seen the trailer, go see the trailer. It's got gameplay in it. Looks great. Looks fantastic. That's running on a PlayStation 3, by the way. The game is going to be on PlayStation 4, not coming to Xbox consoles.
Oh, man.
Which, unfortunately for you Xbox guys, go get a PlayStation 4. There you go. There goes a reason to go do it. Or pick up the game on PlayStation 3. But the game's looks gorgeous already on a PlayStation 3. It's going to look even more gorgeous on a PlayStation 4. So, moving on from there, what else is hot on IGN? Mortal Kombat X. There's been a bunch of news that came out about Mortal Kombat X. They revealed some more gameplay, some more characters, some new modes. This whole factions type of mode, very similar to what they're doing in Super Smash Brothers, where they have these statistics and stuff that kind of change depending on what you do in your game, and you choose a particular type of faction, and like the Lin Kuei, the White Lotus and such, and different stats, depending on how many matches or online matches you play or win and such, they change up. But the big thing that seems to be getting everybody's attention is that Mortal Kombat X may have microtransactions. So, with that being said, right, okay, David, I'm going to shoot it over to you. Microtransactions, do you like microtransactions?
I don't think they're that big of a deal most of the time. The only thing that really rubs me the wrong way is if it's, this is going to be a full price game, if there's something in there that, I'm sure this is not the case, but if it ends up being like a pay to win kind of thing, that's the only thing that
of course
I really don't like. There's Unity gets a bunch of flack online for that stuff, but I actually like the ones in Unity. Not that I bought them, but I definitely, they give you some, whatever they're called, Helix points, which is their thing. Definitely use those on the map to get the treasure chest. Otherwise, that platinum would have taken me 2-3 times longer, I'm sure. So, I mean, stuff like that is fine. If it doesn't really affect the gameplay, it's not really a big deal. People want to be mad about it, but just, don't buy them. And if nobody buys them, they'll go away.
I mean, here's the crazy part about this news is that, number one, it's a fighting game. We all know how, kind of breaking up the fighting game, in Killer Instinct, how that kind of turned out. But also, they haven't really revealed any details about what the microtransactions may be in Mortal Kombat X. For all we know, it could be extra costumes, it could be extra color schemes, it could be extra characters, it could be extra levels. We don't know. Now, I will say one thing. If I had to choose my poison, if I had to pick a poison for microtransactions in Mortal Kombat X, I would have it so that way, okay, I pay an extra $5-10, unlock everything in the game. I'll be totally fine with that because it doesn't really change the dynamic of the game. It only gives me extras. Or if I don't want to pay that, I could just do it the hard way and unlock the most of the stuff through the old-fashioned way of playing through the game. I find that's fine. I know they did that. I think it was in Gran Turismo, right? That they did something like that. I forgot exactly which game they did it in the past.
Battlefield does that too. You can pay to unlock all the weapons from the start.
Yeah, exactly. In Battlefield's case, I find that is more play to win, especially if it's in an online setting, But when it comes
it's
to
a
like
time saver. I mean,
Right.
you can.
Well,
It's
yeah.
not really that big of a deal to grind it out. I mean, if you like the game anyway. But when the game comes out, if people are using the top level stuff, yeah, it can be an issue. But
I agree. I mean, but again, I find that much more that being an issue or with rubbing people the wrong way in an online setting. But with Mortal Kombat X being a fighting game where you could play offline as well as online, if it's just like unlockable stuff or just aesthetic stuff, I'm totally fine with that.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel microtransactions are
Very
like
great.
they've gotten that like negative stigma, right? Like, okay, there was these mobile video games where, like David was saying, the whole play to win thing, right? Or pay to win kind of thing, or pay to advance in a video game. Like, I don't really like the idea of that, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's games like Clash of Clans, I think.
Oh,
that
yeah.
utilize that whole microtransaction, pay to advance or pay to continue playing. I feel that's the negativity that people remember, but when they hear microtransactions, they also relay that with other things, right? Like like buying in-game outfits are technically considered microtransactions because they weren't initially released in the video game. But I feel like people are still piggybacking off that negative stigma. I like the idea of I can buy a new costume for someone in Assassin's Creed, or in Mortal Kombat is a perfect Street Fighter is a perfect example where if I want to buy a new character outfits for all the fighters, I can do that. I'm okay with that. As far as Battlefield goes, I've been there, done that, and it's a really long grind to unlock all of those weapons the way you want them to be. And if I can pay a couple extra bucks to get me there on day one, I'll definitely do that. But
but I just have a problem with it being like purposely and intentionally done that way, where like the grind in order to do it the old-fashioned way, it's ridiculously long. But that to me, I have a problem.
You kind of have to think about it from a different perspective, right? Like I've said before on previous episodes of the podcast, I used to be a competitive multiplayer video game person, right? I used to play Gears of War 3, got into a little bit of Call of Duty and Battlefield, but they didn't really...
An E-athlete, if you will.
Okay, sure. But see, for me, though, I'm more into the, working with teams strategically and putting game plans together. I want to have all that stuff ready for me. That way, all I have to focus on is just the strategy. I don't want to have to worry about, okay, well, today's Monday, I have to grind for about 5 hours to unlock stuff. Like, I don't want to do that. That's 5 hours wasted. So if I have to pay $30 to have all of my stuff ready for me and then I can focus with my team, I'll definitely do that. So I mean, it just depends on which way you look at it. Like I said, a lot of people don't like microtransactions because they think and relate that to the bad microtransactions that are implemented in mobile video games. But I mean, nowadays microtransactions are normal. We see them in every video game, and if that means I get more content for character outfits and such, then that's cool.
True, very true. Now, let's be real here for a second before we move on. Mortal Kombat 9, the reboot of the Mortal Kombat series, they came out with a complete edition. Now, I wouldn't be surprised, like, if this is indeed, like, what microtransactions are going to involve or, like, unlocking things much more faster and stuff. I would not be surprised if Mortal Kombat X comes out later on, like, a couple months down the line, with a complete edition.
Of course they are.
And,
not everybody has internet connection.
Injustice did the same thing, and they're done by the same developer. I would not be surprised if that happens.
Yeah.
That'll be the edition I pick up.
Well, that's why they have to, right? Like I said, not everybody has an internet connection, so where they can download these characters when the game launches.
And I think that's great.
Yeah, they have to do that.
Definitely. That to me, that'll be the point when I pick up Mortal Kombat X. But moving on from there, speaking about other reactions, right, let's talk about this Majora's Mask 3D reviews. Okay, now, in case you guys haven't already seen it, I encourage you to do so. Go read up Marty Sleeva's review of Majora's Mask 3D. That's on IGN right now. They gave the game an 8.7, which is fine. Great score. Great score, almost a 9. But a lot of people seem to be upset about it. Some people seem to be rubbed the wrong way. Now, this is for a couple different reasons, and then I'll kind of gauge your guys' opinions on the matter. Marty had some issues not only with the Great Bay Temple, which is the water temple with the Zora mask, that you're running through, which, again, just happens to be another aquatic setting and such. but also a couple of the extra features that he felt that in the game should have been taken even further or been a little bit much more handled, a little bit better, because the game is now in a portable setting. It's no longer on a console, it's on the Nintendo 3DS. So certain stuff like, regaining or recalling or recording information about certain characters, about side quests and stuff, that's not in this game. You're able to actually set time markers and reminders about certain quests, about certain timelines with certain characters, but you don't get that info that maybe if you want to catch up on, because like maybe you had to stop playing it for a bit, as well as a couple other things here and there of what he had gripes with, which again you could find out in his review. But David, let me ask you something. Do you think like the reactions from some of the people reading it is justified?
Absolutely not. I didn't get a chance to read it in depth, so I went through it quick. It's mostly praise. It's a 8.7. That's a great score. There's no reason to be upset about that. And I just checked Ocarina of Time 3DS got a 9.5, so Majora's Mask scored lower, and I think that's totally appropriate.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, before I ask you, Pete, real quick, because I want to kind of throw this out there, the original review that was done on IGN about Majora's Mask was actually a 9.9 on the N64, the N64 version. Now, with that bearing in mind, what do you think about the reactions, to the Majora's Mask 3D review?
I think when you think about it, the best way I can explain it is times change, right? Back on the N64,
Exactly.
Our standards were what they were back in the 90s and early 2000s, and that's kind of what we knew. And then obviously video games and technology has advanced to what it is today, and then our expectations only evolved from that, right? Our expectations got higher, and the idea that people may be not so on Marty's side, because back then it got a 9.9 and recently it got an 8.7. I mean, you also have to think about it's his opinion. That's not.
It's a different person reviewing it too.
Right. And imagine the flack the review would have gotten if the same person reviewed this version of the video game. It might be a little biased, but going back to what I was saying, it really just falls on the individual who's reviewing the video game. If Marty has his opinions on that, that's valid. That's okay. It's his opinion, right?
Yeah.
The only thing Marty can do is explain how the video game made him feel and write about it. And the individual reading the review is going to take that opinion and either go one way or the other. But the best way people can develop their own opinions is by playing the video game themselves. And I haven't had a chance to play Majora's Mask 3D. I did play it on the N64, and to be quite honest with you, it wasn't my favorite Zelda video game, only because I felt it was too confusing at the time, and maybe I didn't have the patience to learn the system. But now that it's coming out again, that's an excuse for myself to run down to the store and pick it up, which I do have it reserved and plan on picking it up. So, it's Marty's opinion. If people don't care for it, that's totally valid too.
If you don't like it, you could go drink yourself some Lon milk. That's all I'm saying.
When did do you know off the top of your head when the 64 version came out?
I think it was 2000 and crap too.
No, I'm not sure.
I'll check the interwebs.
But I mean, the big thing is things 8.7, and that's
it's still a great score.
And it's still the same game. It's still great. It's just like I'm sure you can think of plenty of examples of old games that were great at the time that they don't quite hold up anymore.
And something too, I think it's also a biasness because it's The Legend of Zelda. Because again,
everybody has the one that
everybody loves Zelda for the most part, and I know that Majora's Mask was the most divisive of that series because people have a bunch of different opinions about
Wind
it.
Waker.
And such. Same thing. Wind Waker, I think, is another one too. But at least with Majora's Mask, it was such a takeaway. It was such like a deviation from like a lot of the nuances from the original Zelda formula that was established in Ocarina of Time. Like Zelda for the most part really wasn't in the game like that. You weren't fighting Ganon for that part, for that matter. Like there was, and then the whole idea with the 3 days that was a big thing. But overall, the game is still good. The game still got a good score. People are just mad because it's not a perfect score. That's all I'm saying.
So the video game launched on April 27th, 2000, and that was the initial release date that required the expansion pack.
Almost 15 years ago.
Yeah, and I want to dive into this video game and try it, especially now that it has the new visuals and it's on a handheld. I can take it basically anywhere I want to. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my favorite Zelda video game, but I'm willing to give it a try now that it's coming back around again with updates and all that other good stuff.
I'm the same way with that. I never really could get into it back then. I kind of do want to go back. I mean, it wouldn't be on 3DS, but I have that collector's disc from some pre-order with the head Majora's Mask on it for GameCube. So
definitely,
at some point, I do want to go back to that one. But like I say, there's nothing to complain about here, really.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But speaking of Nintendo, right? Let's talk about this big blowout of rewards for Club Nintendo that happened recently. Now, let me preface this with a little small story. Now, when I found out about this, it was like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I was up. I'm looking on Twitter. I was like, what the hell's going on Twitter right now? Because I'm just up early having a nice cup of coffee, relax. All of a sudden, big Nintendo Club Awards blowout is happening right now. Go get it before they're gone. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let me go check them out. All of a sudden, the whole website for Club Nintendo is rocked with all this crazy amount of traffic. I'm like, why the hell is this thing so buggy and stuff? And I found out why. There was a Majora's Mask messenger bag that was being offered exclusively for the certain amount of time that you're able to get it while supplies last, as well as also a couple other stuff in themed with Majora's Mask 3DS, as well as a couple other little neat tangible items that you get from Club Nintendo. But in addition to that, you have all these listings of games that you could get for your 3DS, your Wii, and your Wii U, which is pretty nuts. Now, I don't know if you guys got to check the entire listing of games, but some of them are pretty awesome. I mean, you could get Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, the Punch-Out! Remake. You could get, Wario Land 2. You could get Earthbound. You could get a ton of games. You could get even full-fledged 3DS games like Star Fox 64 3D. All these great games. Super Mario 3D World. So much awesomeness in there. I mean, did you guys get to check this out?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen these titles before because I remember... Actually, I think it was recently Nintendo had launched something for the Platinum members, and it was like a free Donkey Kong Country 3D and a few other classic titles. So I feel like they're kind of just sending these back out just to kind of get rid of them. But man, that messenger bag looks so freaking dope. I wish I had the coins, and we were talking about this earlier. I blew all of my coins prior to this announcement, and I was kicking myself in the butt that whole day.
You blew your coins early, man. It's a shame. It happens to the best of us. Them coins. You hit the power button too early.
Yeah, man, I did. Yeah, no, jeez, I just can't.
I mean, I was lucky enough. I was able to get after a good half an hour to an hour of trying to wrestle with the website, because I'm not joking when I tell you that it was so buggy and so broken. I had to click on the link. It had to be at least over 100 times just to get in to actually order my bag, because I kept thinking to myself these things are going to go out really quickly before I know it. But I was able to actually get my order. I'm going to get the bag now, hopefully in about a month or so, because Club Nintendo takes forever just to mail stuff out to you. I'm still waiting on my Smash Brothers OST for registering with Club Nintendo.
In March.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah,
Better.
it's coming
Same thing with the Mewtwo download code when that actually comes out.
Let me ask you guys really quick. First, I want to ask both of you if you guys were avid Club Nintendo people. If you bought the rewards, were you actively looking at the board? And also, what do you think about all of these awesome rewards being offered now, as Club Nintendo is about to? It's basically deteriorating, and it's eventually going to close. And to my understanding, it's going to relaunch as a new rewards program. But going back to what I was saying, Club Nintendo, the selection of titles they would give out, and even the little items that they would offer to Club Nintendo Rewards members, they were okay. I would say they're mediocre. I'm not going to say they were garbage. I'm not going to say they were great. But what do you guys think about all of these really cool items being included now and offered to gamers now? I mean, like I was saying before the podcast, where were these items at before the fallout of Club Nintendo?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of their make good on closing it down, trying to let people have more options to spend their coins rather than have a bunch left over, or like in my case, have about 600 of them expire last year. So, if this stuff was around, I would have cashed out a couple games. But yeah, this is definitely a better selection than there has been. I wasn't really big into it. You asked, for the last probably 2 years or so at least, but I only checked the site probably 2-3 times a year when I would think about it. So I wasn't really watching it nonstop, trying to spend my coins. It wasn't something that was on my mind very often, but it was nice that it was there as a program. I got the the pin set, I think, one year, and a deck of cards from the Platinum reward, but it'll be back, I'm sure, in some form.
To be honest with you, I was a lot more active probably than both of you guys on the Club Nintendo stuff. I used to get the rewards all the time and actively go out my way to get the coins to try to see like what really good stuff that they had. I would save up to try to get well past like 1,500 coins to just browse around and such. And I've gotten like the Hanafune cards, I've gotten the calendars, I've gotten the posters and such. I've had a couple of the other platinum rewards here and there. The Majora's Mask CD. That was the soundtrack. That was a platinum reward. I remember that I got. Oh, yeah. Here's one thing I will say though, like it's really cool, like they're going out and offering all these games and such. But this is the type of stuff, or at least some of the selection in there should have been in the actual program from the very get go.
Yeah,
because the couple reasons why they weren't was because they wanted people to buy them from the eShop, which is a big deal, which is understandable. But I feel like you got to throw people a bone every once in a while. I feel like to really kind of reward people for being Nintendo fans, because I'll give them props. Like Nintendo was the only group that I know of out of the big three that actually did something like this, and I felt like I was getting something out of buying different Nintendo products and games and such. I felt like that was like one of their edges against the other two. With this now, I'm interested to see like where they would take it. Hopefully it's a little bit much more better handled and offers better like rewards than before, because I know I've gotten also like some bags and stuff which I think are great. Like now obviously the messenger bag for Majora's Mask. I would like to see more stuff like that. I would like to see more stuff, involving games that I could download from the eShop, where I don't necessarily have to spend money on the eShop because I've already spent like hundreds of dollars on games that are from my console already. At least give me stuff like that. Even if it's like an older Nintendo game that's already on the eShop. I should be rewarded as a fan or as a dedicated Nintendo, user or Nintendo customer that's part of their ecosystem. If I don't want to buy, if I already bought like, Punch Out, or bought like Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, give me like another Donkey Kong game, or give me the opportunity to actually buy, or not buy, but get another game like related to those two, or anything of the sort.
Or if you just cash the coins out into eShop credit,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, and here's the thing: I've always said they should do that, but they never will. You want to know why? Because how do you actually transfer like how much of certain amount of coins transfers into eShop
easy,
credit, like,
easy.
or
I have
vice
the
versa.
To that. Like when I purchased the Zelda Edition Wii U, I was a part of that whole crap. It was like the holiday. It's basically.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
What's the name of it? Quick, I'm gonna lose.
Oh man, it's not. It's like a holiday blowout type of thing.
It's basically like the ambassador. It's called the deluxe digital promotion. There we go.
I know what you're talking about. That you got the free game,
right? Well, not only that, but they rewarded gamers who bought video games through the eShop with online points. And once you hit a certain amount, you can cash out those points, and you can actually turn those points into eShop currency. And I remember when I bought Smash Bros, I got like a free $5. When I bought when I activated my Zelda Wind Waker video game, I got another $5. So that was $10 right there that I could spend on basically anything on the eShop. And I actually like that a lot more, to be quite honest with you, than the collectibles that you would get from Club Nintendo. Although the collectibles from Club Nintendo are fantastic, like we were mentioning earlier, the Majora's Mask soundtrack and such.
The statues are also pretty good.
That stuff is cool, but I'm more of a gamer than a collector, if anything. I collect video games, but I digress. I want more. I want money. If I'm spending money, I want money back. And I feel like this, the whole deluxe system, is a fantastic way of rewarding gamers for buying Nintendo product, and I want to see that more.
It sounds good, but I doubt it would ever happen, honestly. Like, it sounds good, and it sounds like it works for the people that are the early adopters. The early adopters of, like, the Wii U, the early adopters of the new Nintendo 3DS, and such. That seems to work, but I doubt they would ever implement that into something like Club Nintendo, because then, you're probably... Even though we think that it would show like a token of trust and good faith, and it would cause more people to get in on the ecosystem buying stuff from the eShop, I think they're of the mindset that they already make a lot of money on the eShop, or that they would lose out on people spending money on the eShop if they were to do something like that, which kind of sucks.
If they can't have one or the other, why not just have both? Like, okay, you
register
your Nintendo product, you get 100 coins. Well, you can either turn that 100 coins to like $1, or you can save up and buy a statue or a backpack or that kind of thing. I would say just squeeze them both together and have one badass program.
That could work. It could definitely work. With that being said, though, Club Nintendo ends at the end of March. So that means you won't be able to register coins. You won't be able to redeem any rewards. All your coins that you have saved up will disappear. So get them in while they're hot now. Make sure you can try to get that bag or that jigsaw puzzle or any of the games that they have offered on there. They got some great games for Wii U, 3DS. It's awesome.
And then I want really quick, I want to open it up to the audience, and if you guys would like to let us know, I want to hear what was the coolest thing someone from the audience has gotten from Club Nintendo. Definitely shoot us the email at allstarpod@hotmail.com, and I'm really interested in to see, because I remember a long time ago, I believe Club Nintendo in Europe offered a Super Nintendo Classic controller for the Wii.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That was it had Super Famicom on the top.
Oh, okay.
The one for the US, we actually got a Mario statue that had all the Mario characters. That was the platinum reward. To me, that was the best thing that they had, in all honesty.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, let's talk about this Battlefield Hardline beta. So David, give us the skinny on this Battlefield Hardline beta. What's going on with this?
All right, so it's going on this weekend. It started Tuesday. It's going through Sunday. This is for the new Battlefield game that's coming out. I'm not really sure. I think it's April or March. It's coming up a couple months. It's kind of your typical Battlefield with a twist this time. Instead of two military nations going at it, this is police and criminals. And there's 3 modes in the beta. So you got your Conquest, which is your traditional Battlefield, and then the 2 new ones is Hotwire, which is Conquest, except they're cars. The points that you take are cars. You have to steal the car, and you have to drive full speed to get credit for points for capturing it. So you have to just drive as fast as you can until somebody blows the car up. And then the other new one is Heist, which is kind of feels a little bit like Payday. It's that the map in here is a bank robbery, and it plays kind of like Capture the Flag. There's 2 bags. The criminals have to break into the vault, grab the bags, and then escape to semi-randomly. They're always in the same spots, but not always the same places that you have to escape to. And that last mode is all infantry. There's no vehicles, at least in the beta. It's less players than the maps, which can go up to 64. This has a lot less players, but the map is so much smaller. It's high action. And
I remember that from E3. I remember actually playing the game and seeing it at E3. It was exactly like how you described.
Yeah, I wasn't really into it the first day, but it's grown on me a lot since then. I've been playing it most nights since it's been out, and I expect I will be playing it this weekend some more too. I'm very much enjoying it.
So I mean, like, what I want to know, David, is does this feel like another Battlefield video game? Like, we've all played, or at least I have played Call of Duty like almost every year, and they kind of feel like they're all the same. Does this Battlefield video game feel like previous installments of Battlefield, where it's kind of like boring, it's just another Battlefield game? And then can you talk a little bit also about server issues, if there's any?
Sure. I would say this one is faster. It's not quite... I personally prefer the Battlefield style over Call of Duty, which Battlefield is slower, more team-based, more vehicles. It's not as run and gun as Call of Duty. This new one, all your characters run faster. If you pull down your main weapon, so if you're just running with the pistol, you run even faster yet. So there's a lot more speed in this one. But it does still have the same tenets of Battlefield, and when you get to the bigger maps, it is a lot more wide open.
Nice.
But as far as server issues go, I haven't run into any on the beta. I don't know how many people are playing it, but I've never been dropped from a server. I never had a problem joining one.
Wow.
It's been smooth. Voice chat has been clear. I can't give any complaints. Now, whether it'll be a different story when the game actually launches, who knows?
Right.
But it's smooth.
Huh. And see, that's surprising because, I played Battlefield 3 and then I played the Battlefield 4 beta, and they were just atrocious. They were bad.
That's what a lot of people said.
I can hardly find a game. And that's what actually stopped me from, practicing it. And I moved on. And I'm actually looking forward to Battlefield Hardline now that David said that there's really not any server issues. And I kind of feel like if they fail to succeed in launching this video game with proper server quality,
that'd be bad.
It's going to drive the franchise into the ground, because
that'd be 3 in a row, right?
That's right. And the same thing with Halo as well.
That'd be a very bad thing.
Yeah, it would, and be unfortunate because Battlefield is like an OG franchise, man. That's been around for the longest time. I don't know if it's older than Call of Duty, but man, I remember playing the old versions of Battlefield on PC.
I don't know. That's debatable. I'm not sure, but with that being said, though, let's keep going and keep the things flowing. Let's talk about this new gameplay trailers that keep dropping now for Final Fantasy Type 0 and Final Fantasy 15. Now, we're Final Fantasy fans over here. I don't know about you, David. David, are you a Final Fantasy fan?
We talking about 4 and 6?
Okay, no, that's good. No. He gets props. He said some good Final Fantasy games. Now, if he would have said 13, I would have kicked him off the podcast because that is just wrong. But with that being said, Final Fantasy Type 0 is right around the corner. The release is coming up. We got a new gameplay trailer for it. And we also got a gameplay trailer for Final Fantasy 15, which is called Episode du Sky. So that's going to be included on the pre-orders for Final Fantasy Type 0 HD on PlayStation 4. So did you guys get a chance to see the trailers?
Yeah, I did. And I thought the trailer to Final Fantasy 15 was gorgeous. It looked so beautiful. I know on PS4
absolutely
it's going to knock it out of the park, man.
Definitely.
Hopefully on Xbox One there's some form of parity in regards to graphic comparison, but oh my gosh, I didn't like the video game at first. I was like, it's totally like a bromance, it's like a road trip, blah 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 blah. But then I seen this and something just kind of changed, like in my perspective of it just totally changed, and I'm looking forward to it now. It looks, like I said, it looks great.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on those games. Like, I did the preview for a website that I was freelancing for of Type 0, and I had a bunch of choice words to say for it. It still looks beautiful, still looks awesome, great music, great soundtrack and such. But 15, man, cannot wait to get my hands on that game. I'm hoping to God that when I go to E3 this year that I get my chance to actually play Final Fantasy 15 at the Square Enix booth. I'm really hoping, because the more I see of that game, the more gameplay and stuff, the more excited I've been getting about it. Now, granted, this has been a game that's been in development for a very long time. It's had a lot of negative, aura around it and such, but we're getting closer. The game's looking to shape up really well. And now, granted, in my personal opinion now, as far as JRPGs are concerned, the one that's got the most hype right now is definitely Persona 5. Probably arguably more so than Final Fantasy 15. And then the one that's pretty much trounces it all is Kingdom Hearts 3. But Final Fantasy 15 looks like it's really going to be that game that really brings Final Fantasy as a series back up to its prestige and kind of wash away that bad taste that we had with the 13 series. Oh my gosh, 13. So I mean, it was just so bad. But I'm really looking forward to this game. David, Final Fantasy 15, good, bad, yay, nay, Type 0, yay, nay.
This is back to a traditional one, right? Not a MMO.
No, it's back to tradition. No MMO. Yeah. It's going to play Final Fantasy 15 is going to play like Kingdom Hearts. And Final Fantasy Type 0, if I had to compare it to something, it plays like Dynasty Warriors. But with a Final Fantasy-esque type of,
sure.
nuance.
Yeah, I mean,
so more Final Fantasy than Dynasty Warriors.
I have a PS4 now, and I would be interested in trying out a new Final Fantasy game. I mean, I said that kind of tongue-in-cheek, but really, I was a 64 kid, didn't have a PlayStation. So when they made the jump, I didn't play. I played some of 7, but since then, I haven't really played any of them.
You poor man.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really know. Like, the whole... Like, I wasn't even into 7 that much. I don't know, it kind of broke my brain. I like the top-down sprites and...
Yeah.
But I would definitely be interested in trying out a new one. Type 0 doesn't really interest me myself, but the main game, I'm down for trying some of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, with Final Fantasy 15, I like the... Obviously, I've said it a grip of times already, but I like the way it looks, but I don't like the way it's going to play out. I was more of I was more of the traditional Final Fantasy turn-based video games, and I feel now they're from 13 they're shifting that gameplay mechanic, and I mean I guess it's okay because times are changing and people's expectations are evolving. So I totally get it that they want to move the combat system into a different direction, and it may work, it may not work. I'm not too sure, but it kind of sucks now because that's what the traditional RPG turn-based fighting mechanic is what I basically grew up with, and I miss it. So now I'm starting to gravitate more towards video games like Bravely Default, that kind of re-implement that old school gameplay mechanic that I love so much. So I like I said, I'm still going to play Final Fantasy 15, but I just kind of wish they went back to the old school video games. And even if it was like 8-bit, I remember when Final Fantasy, I think it was 13.2.
That little
the 8-bit trailer of the video game. It was basically
I remember that
catch up of the story for those who didn't play the video game. Like, why not go back to that? I mean, I know retro games now are somewhat cliche and everybody's making them, and most of them are great. Just come on, let me have it.
I will say this one thing though, because of how Bravely Default did, and it surprised the heck out of Square Enix, and now they're getting Bravely second. I'm pretty sure we'll see a Final Fantasy spin-off game, kind of like Crystal Chronicles or something, done in that style. I bet you that happens down the line. But one thing I will say about Final Fantasy 15, and I'm kind of glad they're going towards the more real-time action RPG style for a battle system, is because I feel that everybody was so burnt bad by the 13 and 13.2, and even Lightning Returns' battle system. I felt the best battle system out of that whole series was the one in Lightning Returns, but I feel with everything else around it, it just was just a lost cause almost. Like, some people like it and they were okay with it. I thought it was terrible. I thought that it was just not that great. I would have rather had... If Final Fantasy 15 never went the route that Kingdom Hearts was doing with their battle system, I would have rather had it more traditional, kind of like Final Fantasy X. Because we just had Final Fantasy X and 10.2 HD come out not too long ago, and to me that was a great traditional style Final Fantasy battle system in a new age type of Final Fantasy. That would have been ideal for me if you want to make it more traditional. But I think that it was warranted to have the really big change, not just for the changing of the times, but to get away from like the really bad stuff that the 13 saga had did to us. And again, games like Final Fantasy 14, they were done in an MMO setting, so you can't really count those. Even though some people look at those as like numbered additions to the franchise, I don't. I really see those as like that should have been like a spin-off type of thing. But I think that this is really everything that's going on about it. Even like the whole joking thing about it being like a bro trip, like a road trip for like your new dudes. I think it's actually kind of cool because the story premise that they're setting up for it kind of reminds me a little bit of Romeo and Juliet, and that to me that's like the type of like stuff that I love to see in a Final Fantasy setting or a Final Fantasy story. Like, it looks like it's gonna really be that game that really does it for everybody. That really puts Final Fantasy back into the mainstream. That where it should be and where it deserves to be, because Final Fantasy is a prestigious name.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that shaped Japanese RPGs back in the day. Now, granted, Dragon Quest too. Dragon Quest, you got to give it props and stuff. But like the real mainstay series for people, especially in the US back then, was Final Fantasy. So I want to see it do well. I want to see it make a huge comeback. But let's kind of wrapping up the news here. Daredevil. Let's talk about this Daredevil trailer for the Daredevil series from Marvel on Netflix. Now I know, Pete, you still need to do your homework on the Marvel end of things. Hopefully you saw some of the Marvel movies we recommended last episode. Maybe. You got it here, man. What are we gonna do with you? We gotta make yours Marvel. That's what we gotta do. Man. But David, you're a Marvel fan, am I correct?
Yes.
So tell me, you got to see the Daredevil trailer. What did you think of it?
I'm excited. I like rebooting this. it counts for the movie universe, so that's a big deal.
It's canon. It is canon. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is awesome.
And they got another 3 shows coming, 3 or 4 shows.
They got Luke Cage, Iron Fist, aka Jessica Jones,
and then a team up show, right?
And then pretty much, I think it's called I think it's called the Defenders.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so hopefully this is good. I like the Netflix model of dumping all the episodes up at once.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to binge watch that. It's gonna be so good. Oh man.
I never made it through the Affleck Daredevil. I don't have.
You didn't miss much. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, but so I don't have.
It wasn't bad per se. It wasn't Ben Affleck bad. Yeah.
But so I think this is a good character to kick it off and bring it's kind of a darker.
What do you think of that suit?
What
do you think of that suit that he's wearing?
From my understanding, that is when he starts, and he's gonna end up in the red suit during the season. So
exactly.
I don't have any real comic experience. Everything for me is the movies. But from what I understand, this is based on a specific run of the comics, and he'll end up in the suit. So I don't know. The black kind of seems more practical when you're running around at night. So
I can't wait to see him get into the real suit. I tell you that. I mean, the thing is, I have faith in Marvel. Granted, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not the best show. It's the best superhero show out there. Well, it does connect to their greater Marvel universe, but they have such a plan, such a focused plan on what's going down and how to connect everything and such. I really have faith on them really doing justice to Daredevil.
Yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. is to me, that's their one misstep. The biggest
they're getting better. They're getting better now.
They did get better. I don't know how far you got. It took 12 episodes at least. It took right until Winter Soldier came out before S.H.I.E.L.D. started getting pretty good.
However, they're implementing the Inhumans, which was a big thing that happened not so long ago.
Yeah, I am caught up on S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's once it got better, it's about that level for me still. It's it's not as good as the movies, but it was a real slow burn, that show getting going.
Definitely. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait when Iron Fist comes out. If Iron Fist comes out and it plays out like Vanishing Sun or like a classic martial arts, TV series like Kung Fu or something, I'm all in. Then that'll be a very happy man.
Yeah, it's cool because they can explore different genres like that with all the different characters. So, and not just Marvel, but Netflix has shown that they are producing good content too. So there's no reason to be worried about it, I don't think.
I'll tell you one thing though, DC better take some notice. I mean, if it pans out good, you'll definitely see DC start trying to do the same thing because they're playing copycats of Marvel lately.
Well, they're trying to anyway.
I'm just saying. But with that being said, that's all the news that we got on what's hot on IGN. We got something special though. So Pete, you want to give away a Wii U game.
I do want to give away a Wii U game. Basically, nice. I have a code for the Wii U, and I'm not gonna disclose what the name is because I kind of want to make it, a little interesting.
Surprise.
Yeah, a little surprise. So, for anyone listening, you can write this down. But here it is. It's A06Q LEC3 3952 0FKE. So definitely let us know, guys, if you get the code. Like I said, I like to see pictures, so take a picture of it. Send us a tweet at AllStarPod and let us know that you got it. So good luck to the listeners out there.
Definitely. Hope you guys get that code. Hope you guys enjoy that game because we like giving you guys free stuff. So that's why you listen to the podcast. Well, actually, no, you listen to the podcast because we bring you a great podcast every single week. But what does it hurt to give you a little extra incentive?
Yeah, it's Free Games Friday. #
Free Games Friday. Free Game Friday. I like that. We need to make that official hashtag. That would be pretty sweet. But enough about hashtags and stuff like that. Peter, it is about that time.
It is about that time, buddy.
So it's about time for the IGN Community Spotlight. So tell me, who is this week's Community Spotlight?
Yeah, so this week's Community Spotlight is Tony Yotes, and you can find him on IGN.com. He is the Spotlight winner. He loves Super Smash Bros. Wii U, as we all do, I'm sure. He also loves The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
And he's super excited for Zelda Wii U.
Sweet.
Yeah, on his free time, he likes to develop video games games and stays fit at the gym. So,
really,
yeah, he likes to work out, which I definitely need to.
Oh, we need to get you watching my Gamers with Gains videos. Get you making some muscle gains, man. That's you know what that's because you haven't been watching those Marvel movies, man.
I know. I got to get into shape. But his Nintendo ID is Black Attack 1028. So definitely send him some love, guys, on IGN.com and be his friend. Follow him.
There you go. Congratulations, Tony Yotes. You're this week's IGN Community Spotlight. Way to go, making some gains on the gym. That's good. And don't forget to check out my Gamers with Gains videos. That way you can help you make some more gains. That little shameless plug in there. But with that being said, we got some listener mail. So you ready for this one, guys? We got this one giant, crazy, out of this world listener mail. Okay, you ready? So this comes from our friend Ali Asahi, a big supporter of the show. Which is pretty cool. Thanks a lot, Ali. He goes, "Hi guys. Today I will be ranting about a subject matter that annoys me. So excuse me while I get prepared here for my rant voice." Okay. Recently, I got a live gold subscription for my Xbox One and downloaded one of the free games with gold. After waiting for hours and reaching 100%, it gave me installation closed error message. As anyone would do, I went to Twitter and contacted the Xbox Live support. And shout out to them, they were fast and responsive. They told me to change my region from US to my home region. I wonder what his home region is, by the way, anyway. With that being said, I did that and tried again and nothing changed. Contacted them again and they replied that my region is not live supported. So basically, I have an offline console that is supposed to be online all the time. Man, what a double negative on that. And that means no marketplace, no digital games, no DLC, and no playing online. That's why I chose a US region at the first place, and now I cannot change my region until 3 months passes, and still then I will not be able to play the games that I download. Xbox 360 was in our region since it first got released. After all these years, why not support other regions if you're going all online with your consoles? In other news, when I first got my PS3, our region was not supported either. 6 years later, they just added it a few months back. Regards, Ali Asahi from the unsupported region! Exclamation point. So, this is different from Ali's normal email to us. This man is pissed. He is mad.
And he has every right to be. Like, why launch a system in a region that isn't supported? Right, that does nothing for them. That just kind of makes it seem like they want to dish out all the consoles so they can make the money. And it's like, well, good luck. Hopefully everything works.
True.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you if Microsoft is working on a solution and if they're working to get other regions supported for the Xbox One. But I can definitely feel his pain and feel his frustration because, yeah, the console's supposed to be live all the time. Or at least until you download the initial update. But I mean, with no marketplace, no Xbox Live, I mean that's bad.
It's horrible.
He can't play his video games. Come on, you guys, Xbox.
This guy's having a bad day, and he didn't even need Lizard Squad to actually help him out. I mean, this is how horrible it is. I mean, David, if you had a console that has all this online support and you can't go online, how would you feel?
I would feel like I'm playing on a system from 2002. It's, I don't like the online, offline even, but to his point, the whole region blocking thing, I really don't like. I mean, I guess they have to do it with, exchange rates maybe. I mean, there's got to be some financial reason why they don't just open it up and let you spend your money like you would want to. I mean, if the region has its internet the infrastructure already built so you can connect and they're just not letting you.
Definitely. I mean, that's a damn shame. I mean, there's another thing I could take out of this though. It's the kind of, the response he got from support, which I think was a little I think he should have been able to like call in and actually get a little bit much more help. But seeing as it that they don't support that region over there where he's at, I could kind of understand. But it does kind of suck, to get a kind of lackadaisical or quick answer from support when you're legit having a problem like this. It's a damn shame, especially when he just got a new console, the Xbox One, and now he can't really play any of the games that he just bought online. That's a shame.
I hope support warned him about changing his region, not being able to switch it back for 3 months, and didn't just have him switch it, and then he found out after the fact. That would be really bad.
That's even worse.
Problem. He can. I'm not gonna say he can sue them, but I mean, like, he can definitely call Microsoft support and let them know. And if he really wanted to, I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead because it's gonna. Really
so you're gonna hear a story about him showing up on IGN talking about Ali Al-Sahi makes class action lawsuit against Microsoft for unsupported region.
It would definitely be a big story from a reporter's perspective. But yeah, I mean, if I was him, and the only advice I could really give him is if you are locked out because of the Switch, definitely stand up for your rights and, give him a call. Say, hey, this is unacceptable. You guys gave me support. It did nothing for me. In fact, it made my situation worse. I need your help right away. And, light a fire under their butts. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if you really want to get under their skin, go buy yourself a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation Vita. Talking about, hey, look, I got support over here. What about you guys? That'd be funny. Yeah, next thing you know, Ollie's gonna send us a picture of a PlayStation Vita he just bought. Oh, that'd be hilarious. But that's all the kind of listener feedback and mail that we got here today, guys. If you guys want to let us know about something, you guys want to ask us a question, you guys could always hit us up at allstarpod@hotmail.com, as well as also send us a tweet over on Twitter at allstarpod on Twitter. And if you guys want to be IGN All-Stars yourselves, you want to get in on the All-Star program, you want to know what it feels like to be an All-Star, don't forget you could actually apply to be an IGN All-Star on IGN.com. Now, keep in mind, not everybody will be selected to be an All-Star, but if you're active on the forums, if you're constantly leaving comments on the different articles, you definitely want to actually be an IGN All-Star. So hack away, apply to it, and get in on the discussion with all of us. Now, with that being said, David, you got a game that you want to give away now.
It's actually not a game, it's a movie.
Whoa. It's a movie? Oh my God, we're giving away movies now. Look at this.
So I don't know if you guys...
Somebody go get the popcorn.
Are you familiar with the Ultraviolet, with the digital copies?
Yes. Yes,
I really like it. I know some people don't, but this is one that I ended up with an extra code for. And this is Skyfall, the last James Bond movie.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about.
So, no, I'm just going to go ahead and read this one out. So this, I have to give you a little bit of instruction. You have to go to a website, Fox UV for Ultraviolet. So foxuv.com/Skyfall. And then it'll give you the steps through there. You just need this code. 5474707998397238.
Awesome.
And go ahead and get on that. It expires in less than a week.
That's good, man. You're giving away good movies. That's what I'm talking about, James Bond.
And if you guys get it, send David a tweet. David, what's your Twitter handle if you have one?
Why don't you go ahead and comment on my IGN, maybe?
There you go.
I live in the middle of the country, so I don't use Twitter.
But he's on my IGN, so he gets a pass. That's okay.
Well, I have, I've had a Twitter account since basically it came out. I just, around here it's not a thing. I don't live in a big city, so there's not a lot of utility there for me. So
what's your my IGN page?
I am D Quigley. That's Quigley. And you can get me there. I'm on Twitch. You can find all my info from there. Or you can add me on PSN. DQ.
Nice. So I just thought of an awesome nickname for David right now. We're going to call him the Quigs.
Quigs.
That's,
the Quigs.
I do not want to rain on your parade, but you are not the first person to come up with that one.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh, man, that's awesome. That's funny, though. But still, thanks for giving away the game. I hope you guys get to... I mean, I got giving away the game. I keep saying game. Giving away the movie. Mm-hmm. I hope you guys get a chance to check out the movie. It's actually a pretty good movie, Skyfall. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gets back to the roots by the end of it. I was a big fan of it.
That classic James Bond. That good James Bond right there.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are excited for the new James Bond coming out. That's going to be a good
big
movie,
time.
too. Oh, yeah. Wow. But with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode. Any final thoughts from you, David, for the listeners out there?
Not really. If you want to send me a message or anything, I'll make sure I pop in on the comments on whichever one of you's posting the blog post about this too. But if you have any comment about anything I said or whatever, you just want to add me on PSN, go for it. I'll add anybody.
Nice. Very cool. Now, any final thoughts, Pete, before we wrap this show up?
I just want to say thanks again to David for helping us out with our
Definitely.
dilemma, our audio dilemma that we were having, and I'm glad
it was a big help.
Yeah, I'm glad
very
it helped
big
us out.
help.
So another thank you to David. Thank you for everybody for listening. We're still getting feedback. That's great, and we're getting constructive feedback, which is even better. So thank you guys for doing that. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, totally do it. It's Pete_Lopez with a 0. And in case there's any Nintendo enthusiasts out there like myself, come and check me out on purenintendo.com. I'm a news reporter there, and I've also reviewed a solitary video game that was garbage. So definitely check it out and let me know. So yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Again, if you guys want to reach me on Twitter, I'm at VenomousFatman1 on Twitter. That's at VenomousFatman and the number 1 on Twitter. Okay. Also, don't forget to send your questions or your comments not only on the My IGN blog post when I actually put up this episode of the show, but also send it to us at AllStarPod on Twitter.com. Okay. I blanked out for a second. I'm looking at the wavelengths over here. What is it? But also send us an email at allstar@hotmail.com. allstarpod@hotmail.com. I'm stuttering my words, man. It's that Skyfall. That I'm getting stuck on the whole nickname we're giving David here, the Quigs. It's so funny. But be able to send us a question or a comment there if you guys want us to read it on the show. We're always appreciating all the feedback and all the different questions that you guys might have for us, that we can answer for you on each new episode. Don't forget to subscribe to us and rate us on iTunes. We're on iTunes again. We're back up to par. You'll definitely have this episode on iTunes if you're not already listening to it now. And let us know what you guys think. We hope you guys enjoy the podcast. We hope you guys enjoy the free stuff that we keep giving to you guys. And we'll be back again with a new episode next week. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.
Peace.